Good morning. Welcome to Fibertown, episode 111. It's May 22nd, 2015. I'm Emily. This is Alice. I'm Chain of Fools on Ravelry. And come back here. And Fibertown with an RE on Instagram. And my blog, which is at fibertown.blogspot.com. You can find me on all the places, iTunes, YouTube, the aforementioned blog, the Rav group. Bye, Alice. There's a sunspot, so that was a very brief appearance. Yes, the Ravelry group. Come on and say hello, chat in the group. I'm going to do some Ask Fibertown questions today, as well as show you the regular sections such as FOs and whips and all that good stuff. Spinning, weaving, acquisitions. So hello and welcome. Let's see, what else have we got going on that's sort of businessy to get out of the way? The Autism Awareness Craft Along is going on, and that's going till the end of June. So next week I will draw for the May prizes, which are 2 patterns. So that's coming up, so put your amazing FOs, there are amazing FOs in that thread. You can put any FO in there, but if you have a mostly brightly colored FO, put it twice. That's in recognition of Autism Awareness, which has the very colorful sort of puzzle logo. Let's see what else. We have the Pal-Cal, which is being run by Actually Knitting, the Actually Knitting podcast. That starts June 1st, it's Memorial Day weekend already in the U.S., and that's early this year. So June 1st, which is when the Pal-Cal starts, is almost upon us. There is a coupon code, so check out that podcast for a coupon for my patterns, as well as other amazing designers. That didn't come out quite right. Then we have the Summer of S starting June 15th. And that's going to run during my travels in Spain. I'm leaving on June 15th. I'll be back earlier. It's not going to be a 6-week excursion like it was last year. I'll be gone for 3 weeks. So yeah, I'll be back early July. But the Summer of S will run through to the 1st of September. So this is anything that starts with an S. And we had a lot of fun last year, so I'm looking forward to that. There will be prizes. If you are interested in donating a prize, call me, PM me, ping me, whatever you want to do. Don't call me. I don't have a phone number listed anywhere. People don't call each other anymore, do they? That's fine with me. I don't like talking on the phone. Anyway, other businessy things. I have a Ross Farm interview I've started to edit with Amy of Ross Farm, who is fantastic. Hopefully I will have that up soon. If not this week, then next week, but be looking for that. I'm not sure if it will be standalone or if it will be sandwiched into an episode. So be looking for that. Okay. I am wearing my Bare Branches by Alana Dacos, and this is out of a wonderful tweed yarn. It's like a Plymouth tweed. I think I got it for 40% off, like a sweater quantity for a man. And then I decided, whoa, no, I'm going to knit it for me. It's got the hood, and it's got the tree on the back in cables. I'm not going to turn around, but I'm just saying, go check it out. I've been getting a lot of use out of this sweater lately because it's really cold again. It didn't get out of the 50s here yesterday, which is very strange for this time of year. I'm reaching for my phone because I'm going to show you my one and only FO for the week. And the pattern is Bluebird of Happiness. I knit this in under an hour. It's actually a Yellowbird of Happiness. There it is. I knit this for my mother-in-law, who is recovering. She's undergoing chemotherapy right now. She had a mastectomy a few months ago and has had a really rough time. And we put together a care package for her. Even though we're going to see her in a matter of weeks, I just spent a fortune to mail it because she just needed a pick-me-up. So I put that in there, as well as a little change purse I sewed for her. My kids wrote letters. I put some yarn in there as well. She is a knitter sometimes. I don't know if she has the energy right now, but yarn is always a good thing. A little stuffy. What else? A chemo cap. some slippers, some tea, a candle. So that all went out to her with that little bird of happiness. I love that pattern. And I did make a little loop so she can hang it up. Works in progress. I've been working a lot on the Hitofude. And this is out of my Jones Street Sport in my new Jan B. Smiley bag, which is getting a lot of compliments as I go out and about. Or as they say, oot in the boot. Where do they say that in Canada? Oh, great, I just started a row. Well, that's not the right color. That's more like the right color. This is the Jones Street Sport from the Copper Corgi, which has also been getting amazing attention as I am out in a boot. Don't know why I'm saying that today. That's just weird. All right. I am really trying to get some progress done on this, and I'm getting there. It's a bit curled up there. I'm kind of in the home stretch now, but I'm working from 2 different charts at the same time, and it's causing me a lot of brain problems. So there's a lot of stopping and going, wait, what? So it's not that hard. It's just, for me, it's hard. So yeah, I really want it done. I really want it off the needles. I want to wear it. It feels amazing. I think I'll get a lot of use for this in Spain, in the mountains. And I don't want to make it too short, though. I've got a lot of warnings about, ooh, I made that and I didn't make it long enough. Make sure you make it long enough. So I have 2.5 more repeats before the bottom ribbing, so we shall see. We shall see. This is only the 3rd skein. I bet I have enough. Well, I don't know. I'll probably have to go into the 4th skein. But I'm going to have a whole 5th skein by the end of this, so I don't know what I'll do. I just don't know. So I need some goals, people. My goal, because I've just kind of been knitting like, you know, aimlessly. I have a goal now to finish this soon. I was originally thinking by the end of the weekend, but I am not just run it who can crank these out in like a day. Did you see? She's got, like, every time I look at her Instagram, she's got another one on there. But it'll get done. So I'd like to get it done in at least, like, no more than 10 days, 2 weeks. Less would be great. So that is definitely ongoing. Now I also have my sock yarn blankie. And what have I knit on this week? Okay. This one, this one, this one. There's at least one other. This one, and that's it. Now, you may be noticing, hey, that's only like 4, and we haven't seen you in maybe 10 days. So, well, it's been a week and a little bit more. Yeah, I'm gonna take a break. We are on a break. The blanket and I are on a break. I'm going to be seeing other works in progress. And I still love it, and I will definitely be coming back to it, but the square a day thing, yeah, I just need a break. I feel like I want to be monogamous, and I know it's just one square, but still, I just need a break, and I can't force it. I can't force it. You know what I mean? When I feel it again, I'll go back to it. And I'm sure I'll miss it when I'm in Spain, and I'll come back guns blazing, knitting needles blazing, and I'll just make up for lost time. All right, what else do I have? Yes, my May socks, my junk yarn socks. Now there is the first one. I think the key to making a good junk yarn sock is lime green and chartreuse. And I don't think the next one has enough. And I've actually pulled it off the needles because I had to rip back. But I'll pick up those stitches and get trucking again today. I had finished the gussets because it's a double gusset sock by Christy Brockway, which I love. Hi, Christy. And just regular heel flap, my usual recipe, but with a double gusset. Yes, I do not have nearly enough lime green and chartreuse. You know what I mean? Yeah, I had to rip, I don't know what happened. I lost a stitch and tried to fix it. And because I am switching colors and weaving in the ends as I go, during my little surgery attempt, I ran into problems with woven in ends and made a mess of things. So, gotta get this back on my Addy sock rockets. I am loving my poke me knots. You know what they're also good for? Not poking holes through your expensive project bags. You know what I mean? I need more of these. I will be getting more. So yeah, it's going in there. Let's go back on the needles. And this, I'm pretty sure, yeah, this will be, it has to be done by June 1st. I can usually do the sock pretty fast, or the foot of the sock pretty fast. Okay, that's in my Holland Handmaids little tulips bag. And that is it, folks, for works in progress, except for spinning and weaving. Weaving, just very briefly, I haven't touched my weaving very much. There it is. It's a bit more in progress, and I have some lengths cut for the next bits. That would also be good to get that done by the weekend, and it will be fold. When you take this off the loom, ideally you make a shawl out of wool, so you full it and it kind of comes together. So that should be fun once it's finally done. As for spinning, I have completed, I don't think I showed you this last time. This is 400 yards of a 3-ply, excuse me, my Cotswold Coopworth fleece, which if you remember was the little crinkle cut fries locks. It's a lamb fleece, and it just shines and glows, and it feels amazing. It's got a bit of a halo. It's combed, but I spin it woolen, my style of supported long draw. So it has air. It's not ropey, you know, like a worsted spun yarn with too much twist. So it's making an amazing yarn, and I did some swatching. I know this is a really bizarre swatch. Oh, look at that. But isn't that pretty? Isn't that gorgeous? And I have to say, I don't think that looks too much like hand spun. You know what I mean? That's that magic of 3-ply. When you're hand spinning, 3-ply is just, it's up great. So I cast on with, oh great. I cast on with 7s or 6s down here. And I like that fabric. I think I'm gonna end up using 6s on this, because up here I used 5s and I played around with different decreases. These are like centered decreases, but actually no, double decreases, not centered, all of them. But you can see the ones that are left leaning, this one right here, and then there's one down here as well. So the difference between the centered and the left leaning decreases are slipping 2 stitches together or slipping them one by one. Isn't that funny? Can't remember which is which right now, but yeah, the centered decreases are really nice, and I think that's slipping them together knitwise. Yeah, and the slipping them one by one knitwise makes the left leaning. And I did some little funky little faux cables up here, and this is going to be a garment knit. The rest of it is not spun, but oh, I love it. So yay. It looks like a little skirt, doesn't it? So that's it for spinning and weaving. While fleece prep, I did wash some more of my Lincoln. I maybe have 2 more batches to wash out of the 6 pounds. So I guess I wash about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds at a time. So far, not a lot of waste coming out of this fleece, although once I do start doing prep, I will certainly be discarding bits. I've been fluffing up some of my Rhinebeck fleece locks, and there is definitely going to be waste from that fleece. That's the Corriedale Rambouillet cross. Not a whole lot of second cuts, but there are some second cuts, and so So yeah, I need to organize. This room is in desperate need of some cleaning up and organization. There's just every surface is covered with wool and whatnots, and I think that's going to be a priority for this weekend as well. All right, let me show you my acquisitions. So I have been sent an amazing bundle from my friend Christina in Colorado. She's string bean on Rav. Hey Christina. She's an amazing hand spinner. A lot of these are hand spun, and yeah, I could not be more thrilled to get these. Like, I'm pretty sure that's hand spun. Bunch more of these are hand spun. These are barn raising quilt quantities, so, and a few of regular mitered square quantities. Gorgeous bits of stuff. There's one in here that has Angora. Where is it? Oh, that might have fallen out. I might have actually put it in my basket already. There's some more hand spun. Ooh. So very, very lucky to get some of this lady's hand spun and her other stuff. So thank you. We did a little scrap exchange, and hope she likes the ones she got. Okay, so as I was going to say, I have been hanging out in Looped Yarnworks like 2 weeks in a row now on Wednesdays. That's the day I usually go and drive into the city to get my daughter. She has a short day of school. And Looped has a great selection of a lot of things. But what has really caught my eye, let me see if I have the other one over here. What has really caught my eye is their Mad Tosh unicorn tails. Where's my other one? Okay, well, you saw the other one that I bought. And I couldn't resist some more. So I picked just 5 that spoke to me. Look at how fun they are. So we have Edison Bulb, which is all over Stephen West's design work. Coquette, which is this fuchsia. Jade, which is gorgeous. It doesn't really quite capture it, but it's beautiful. Cousteau. Okay, that's not Cousteau. Cousteau is teal. This is showing not teal. And then Cathedral. Wow, so pretty. Which I was not familiar with Cathedral. So they have the entire line of unicorn tails. So I have 6 now out of the 30. And this is it's a cool thing to collect. It doesn't, they're $5 each. So you could buy 1 or 2 at a time, depending on your budget, or 5 like I did. And yeah, I kind of want to collect them. And then, they would make an amazing shawl or baby blanket, just all knit together. And I don't know, like in a chevron pattern, or the possibilities are endless. So I got me some unicorn tails. All right, folks. Yeah, this is a shorty. Well, I'm going to do a Ask Fibertown or 2 or 4. So let's just see how that goes. Let me pull up the thread. And I'm going to start with number 48, which is from, I think it's Simoom. It is. Okay, she asks, how do you save information about your hand spun? Do you label calculating yardage per 4 ounce? How do you pair yarn with pattern? And how much are you willing to do regarding recalculating to make your pattern work? Okay, so that's a lot of questions. Let me see. How do I save information about my hand spun? Well, I need to do a better job at that. Yeah. Sometimes if it's a big project of hand spun, like I know I'm going to have 4 or 5 skeins of it, like something like this, which is a fleece, I will save it in my phone. I will make a note and I'll be like, okay, Cotswold Coopworth fleece, first skein, 400 yards. And I'll just save it in there so that I can, I don't label the skeins, unfortunately. And I probably should. I need to get some of those, I don't know, there's a special paper that you can I guess you can buy it in envelopes and cut it into rings. You can write on there with a Sharpie and put it right on your skein of yarn with the yardage per 4 ounces or 3 ounces or however much it is. And right when the skein comes off the nitty knotty, it's already on there. So, because I find if you don't do it immediately, you're not going to do it. And I know that Gustler Designs has some tags that are pretty awesome. That do the same thing, but they have a lot more details on them. I haven't bought any, but I've heard great things about them. So I find if I don't do it immediately, either on my phone or a piece of paper attached to the skein. Anyway, the things I'm talking about with a Sharpie, you can actually throw them in the wash with your skein right as it's come off the nitty knotty. So that's what I should do. I need to look into that, like getting some of that material on Amazon. I think it's in envelope form, and then you cut it and it's like a loop. Oh, no. That's not right. I think it might be like entrance wristbands for fairs and so forth. That might be it. Anyway, this is clearly not well thought out, so I'm sorry, Simum. But there are ways to do it, and I think that if I don't do it right away, it's not going to get done. But the phone thing does work for me also. So, and I don't see why it couldn't work for any other project. I don't put my handspun in Ravelry. I really should. I don't put any of my stash in Ravelry anymore. It's been years since I've done that, and I just don't want to. So let's see. So I do calculate calculate yardage per 4 ounces if it's like a standard braid of top that I've spun, or I just put, usually the information is the weight, the yardage, the way I spun it. So was it an end ply? Was it a 3-ply? Was it 2-ply? And which whorls did I use? What kind of spinning I did? What kind of prep it was? There's so much you can include, like what whorl what ratio for the singles, what ratio for the plying, because it's not always the same. And I did use a different ratio for plying for this. I went up a whorl size to put more air into it, or to, for it to be a little looser plied. Yeah, the actual breed of sheep that it came from, lots of information. Now, how do I pair yarn with a pattern, and how much are you willing to recalculate to make a pattern work? Yeah, not so much. I don't often do huge substitutions where I have to. Usually I might, if it seems to work out math-wise, I'll either do knit the size up or the size down if my gauge is different from the pattern. Like this is written, the Hitofude is written for a fingering weight yarn. I'm using Sport, but I know that I'm a tight knitter. So I know that I can probably get away with, oh look, there's my, sorry, shiny. There's my stitch marker from Heather 0, darn it, I was gonna learn her username. It's the zip code of Lowell, Mass. All right, I will memorize numbers. Numbers and I, we're not simpatico. Words and I, we are like this. So that's the reason I cannot remember her username. I'll have to make an effort to memorize the numbers. I know it starts with a 0. 01851. Okay. So I will do a little recalculating, but really informal recalculating. Like if I get stitch gauge and it's a different type of yarn, I'll go for it, because I know usually I can modify the length, the row gauge, as I go. It's not always possible, but usually I find that it is possible. So sometimes yarn and pattern pairings just do not work. And I've gone through multiple swatchings where I really wanted it to work and it just doesn't. And it's rare, but sometimes you have to just walk away. So, but I feel like, Anna Zilborg, when I met her, she was like, if you've been knitting a while, you kind of know how many stitches you cast on for a this weight yarn sweater. And while no, I don't know how many stitches to cast on, I do feel like there is some intuition that comes with knitting lots of garments and probably failing quite a bit and learning from that. So yeah, I don't shy away from modifying patterns at all, but when things are too far off of what they should be, I feel like you just need to not do it. Do something else. Okay, the next one is Betty for Fiber. When you swatch, what do you do with a swatch? Frog and use it? Keep for reference? She says, it seems I always buy one more skein to do a swatch when I swatch. That can be an expense and I think wasteful. But then again, I don't want to play yarn chicken. I don't usually do extensive swatching. Because again, you kind of, once you know your style, once you know your knitting, I feel like you don't. If it's a stockinette sweater with a yarn you're used to using, you kind of know how it goes for you. If it's a stitch you've never knit before and you don't know what your fabric is going to come out with, or it's a yarn you don't know and you think that you might knit differently with it, that's when I swatch. Like this. I wanted to see how, this isn't a yarn nobody's ever spun before, right? It's my own hand spun. It's this particular fleece prepared in this particular way. How do I know what it's going to knit up like? I don't until I try. So I swatch. I see what the fabric is like with different needles, different stitches, and that is useful information to me. But I feel like just swatching because you're supposed to swatch is not something I'm going to do. Now, that said, when I do swatch, what do I do with a swatch? I have unraveled them and used them before. And that's like a safety net. All the swatches I've ever done before, like for designing, they're just shoved in the bottom of a bowl somewhere in my yarn room. I don't have a good use for them. I suppose you could make like a memory board where you tack them up somewhere, or you could sew them, if they're not like funky like this, you could sew them into a quilt if you do a standard size swatch. Janice Ficker, I saw her taking a swatch and seaming it together and using it as a water bottle cozy. That's a great idea. Do you guys have other uses for your swatches? I bet you do. Let me know. I tend to not buy an extra skein. I tend to buy, because I'm a tight knitter, I find that I usually don't use the amount of yarn requested or required in the pattern, and I usually have leftovers anyway. If you're a loose knitter, it can go the other way. So just kind of know your style and act accordingly, I guess. I just want to make sure I answered all her questions. So yeah, I do all the things that you talked about in there, but I don't have a standard MO, really, when it comes to swatches. Let me see, what time is it? Yeah, I think we might have time for one or two more. I'm just going to do one more, and then I'll have, let's see. Yeah, number 62. It's from Nikki 18229. So she was just given freshly sheared raw wool, and she wants to know how to clean it. The Knit Girls just talked about this in their most recent episode, so I might check them out. There's no right way to do it. People have different ways. She heard that you can wash it in a washing machine. Would that not felt it? I've never tried washing machine fleece washing. Here's what I do. I have lingerie bags that I just bought at the grocery store. They're not expensive. I take some fleece, and usually, people do recommend that you take it apart lock by lock, lay them out nicely. I don't do that. I just take a clump of fleece, I put it in the lingerie bag, and I wash out my kitchen sink. I fill it up with hot water from the tap and a squirt of Blue Dawn dish soap. I have used Power Scour from Unicorn, and that works well too. I just find that Dawn works fine and it's extremely cheap. So the hottest water I can from the tap, I fill it up, I don't know, pretty much I don't put the bags of wool in yet. So I get a certain amount filled up from the tap, and I also boil a stock pot of water on the stove. And I pour that in when it's not quite to the boiling point, but it's kind of smoking, you know. And then, soapy, it's super hot. I put my lingerie bags in. I have gloves that are heat proof that I just got I got them at World Market. And I just sort of gently smush everything down. The water turns a nasty brown color. And don't worry, I bleach the sink after I'm done. No worries. I do check for poo before I put it in my kitchen sink. The fleece is hopefully well skirted and all of that is gone, but you never know. It is a barn animal. So anyway, I put it in there. I set the timer for 20 minutes. And when it goes off at 20 minutes, I get another pot of water on the boil. And then in 10 more minutes, I put in my gloves, I lift out the lingerie bags, I gently squeeze the dirty water out, and I put them in a bin next to my sink. I do that. I have 3 lingerie bags going at a time. And I rinse out the sink, fill it up with new hot water from the tap, new Dawn, the big pot of water that's been on the stove, and did I say Dawn? Yes, another squirt of Dawn. And then I do the same thing again, put the bags back in, and because I have the hot water ready, I don't have a lag time between where the yarn can cool down significantly, and it's going to be a temperature shock. So I do a second wash, probably a third one, just the same, and then I do a rinse. I do 3 or 4 rinses just to get the extra soap out. And I think that if you use Power Scour, you may have an easier time doing the rinses than I do, but I want to make sure the Dawn is all out. And what I do is I stop, after the washes, I don't use water from the stove. And each time I maybe boil the water a little less. Like for each wash, it's a little bit less hot than the previous. So that by the time I'm doing the rinses, I'm just using hot water from the tap. So I fill the sink up probably a little less. I put the lingerie bags in, I swish them around a bit, I maybe squeeze them a little bit gently. I've never had a problem felting. And I do a significant amount of water, squeezing out water. And as long as I'm gentle and I don't do temperature changes, I've been fine. And usually the last rinse, I wait until the water's not cloudy at all. It's clear as I'm squeezing the water out or as the bags are in the sink. And I take them outside if it's a sunny day. I usually only wash on sunny, dry days. And I spread them out on a drying rack. And that's it. And then when they're dry and I'm processing, when I'm getting ready to process, I take the locks out bit by bit. And I find that it's more fun for me to manipulate the locks when they're clean than when they're dirty. And it's a little bit easier because they're not sticking together as much because of lanolin. So that's how I wash fleece. It's fun. I like to wash fleece. The house smells a little funky, but it's like, I like to think that my children will remember that smell as part of their childhood. Dirty farm animals, yay, mommy. So that is it for today, my friends. I hope that you guys have a great holiday weekend if you are in the US. And if you are anywhere else, have a great time. I will probably see you mid next week. And until then, you all take care. Bye-bye.